To be a 1% man, you have to practice semen retention. There are some very powerful people, not powerful in the way that the world sees power over others, a lot of money, no. When I say powerful, at least in this context, I'm referring to people like Nikola Tesla, the guy who literally is responsible for our electrical grid, discovering the AC current. He was a celibate. He practiced semen retention. He was a hermit. He didn't have a wife. He conserved his energy and he discovered electricity. Do you guys understand this? This is powerful. When you practice this, you become 1% of men, because a man that's in control of his sexual urges is a powerful man, a spiritual man. And this is ultimately the goal for all of us. We have to become in tune with our spirit. And in order to become in tune with our spirit, we have to deny the flesh. And one of the best ways to deny the flesh with the most benefits, and one of the ways that's required to reach your full spiritual potential, is semen retention. Conserving your seed, not wasting it, not practicing PMO, porn, masturbation, orgasm. Don't practice that. You have to break that habit. If you're in that dark space in your life right now where that's one of the only ways you experience pleasure, we have to break out of it. And in order to do that, it requires help from God. It requires help from the Spirit. It requires you to be humble. It requires you to ask God to guide you. And it also requires your own self-discipline, your own willpower. And willpower you can't do it by your own willpower. I'll tell you that right now. But with the help of the Holy Spirit, with the help of God, which comes with humility, it is possible. And this is also how you will discover your purpose, because your purpose is within you. It's not out there somewhere in the world. It's within you. So by disconnecting from the external world, by disconnecting from temporary pleasure, by instant gratification, you then tune yourself to a different frequency, which then allows you to use that energy, that brain power, in other ways. We waste so much energy, so much spiritual vitality, brain power, whatever you want to call it, on temporary gratification, immediate pleasure, and we don't conserve it long enough to ever discover what our purpose is, to ever bring our gifts into the world. Since we used the example of Nikola Tesla, he literally brought electricity to the world as we know it. And I can almost guarantee you, if he was spending his time and energy on instant temporary pleasure, then he would have never discovered that. I'm sure somebody else would have, but most likely he wouldn't have, because it requires a lot of energy, a lot of mental energy, spiritual energy to really, even create in this world, like to create anything. And we live in a society today that makes all of these temporary forms of pleasure easily accessible to the average person. We all have a phone in our hands that we can type in a couple words into a browser, and anything that we could think of comes up. Any sort of pleasure that you want to, put into your mind, it's there on the device that you're holding in your hand right now. I'm talking to myself too. It's there on this device that I'm using to record. So we have to have some sort of discipline, some sort of connection to something higher to be able to avoid falling into that, something that's so easily accessible to all of us. And in order to become a 1%, and to disassociate ourselves with the 99, not to disassociate, but maybe let's say not be one of the 99%, then it requires a supernatural level of discipline. And if you want to have a supernatural level of discipline and a supernatural way of functioning in the world, that requires help from something supernatural, which is God, Spirit, the divine, whatever you want to call it. Because I know I've tried to do it by myself and I keep falling back into it. But whenever you call on God, whenever you call on the Holy Spirit, the Spirit of Christ, then you will have that power within you to not give in to those temptations and to transmute that energy and put it towards discovering your purpose, put it towards more spiritually incline goals and desires rather than fleshly goals and desires that may feel good in the moment, but in the long run, they're not worth it. And this is possible for all of us. For you watching this video right now, it just requires true desire. It requires humility. And it's something that's not widely understood by people in today's world. So I'm just doing my part and helping spread this message. This is one of those videos that I didn't have a script to record. I just felt in my spirit to click play and start talking about this. So I got a kid behind me running around. I'm at a park. I don't know if you guys can see. So I think it's a good place to end this video. This was a short one today. I hope you gained value from it. Check out my other videos. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Much peace and love.